HPS Wildcats, this is Mr. Waka. I'm coming at you from my office. I'm rocking out my awesome HPS Chess Club shirt. And the reason that I'm making this video today is normally I put out the weekly notes, via the written word on the Friday. But whenever there's kind of hot button or important topics, I like you to hear directly from me about what direction we're looking to go as a school. So we're going to talk about the mask mandate that we had this past year and what we're going to look to do moving forward. And we're also going to talk about school uniforms. With the mask mandate, we know that the governor came out and said it's going to be up to school districts to determine what they want to do with their mask policy for the next school year, and that's great. I will say that I expect we're going in a direction where masks will be optional this coming September. We haven't declared it officially yet, and I'll explain why, but that's a direction I see the needle moving, and I think that I'd like to see a school that has optional masks for students and hopefully for staff as well. But that's the direction I'm looking to take right now. Now, the reason we haven't done it yet is because there's a couple variables we still have to work out. We have to determine if a parent says to us, I want my child to wear a mask, and halfway through the day, if that child takes their masks off, is that something where we're going to have to talk to a parent about that, or we have to enforce that? These are things that we have to determine internally, how we want to go about that. But I am hopeful that within the next couple, weeks, or maybe, before September, we'll be able to come out and say that Haledon Public School will be mask optional for next year. But again, we're just not ready to make that declaration just yet. But I do think the needle's moving the right direction for that. The other issue is school uniforms. So I'm going to put on our Facebook, and I'm going to ask Mr. Miller and Mr. Velez to put these links on our website as well. We have two contracted uniform companies. We have JDM, which is in Lodi. You may remember they're the ones that had the factory burned down a couple years ago, but they're up and running, so that's going to be one of our uniform vendors, JDM. The other is Flynn O'Hara. And the question is, when do we want to start enforcing the uniform policy? And I've decided we're going to look to begin enforcing a uniform policy when we get back from Thanksgiving break. And here's why. I know that a lot of people in this town were impacted negatively financially because of the pandemic. And I know that because we keep track of the numbers of free meals we've given out this entire process. And the numbers didn't start high and go low. They started low and went high. So I know that there's a lot of families that are still, struggling financially. So I don't want to, right now, put a fiscal burden on those particular families and say you got to buy these $20 or $30, $40 worth of uniform sets for your kids in order for them to be able to come to Haledon School. I don't want any kid, feeling trepid about returning to school, about their uniform, if it doesn't fit or anything like that. So in the meantime, we're going to continue doing what we've done, which is say, if you have a school uniform and you want to wear it, that's awesome. If not, we just ask that you wear red or black or white. And the reason being is we have over 1,000 kids coming into school from one entrance, or that's what I'm hopeful will be next year. It's very helpful from a safety perspective for us to know who belongs and who doesn't. And the school uniforms, they help us with that. But, as a school leader, it's my job to always kind of have my pulse on the community. And I know that there's, still people that are struggling fiscally because of the pandemic. So I'm not going to look to enforce an official uniform policy until at least when we get back from Thanksgiving. But we're going to put the links on the website regarding the uniform vendors and their locations and the process you could take to get that. So that's it for us. We got summer camp starting next week, so that's awesome. The playground's been open for the ESY program, and it's going to be open for the summer school, so it's good to see that going in the right direction as well. So things are looking up, and we're getting a brand new library renovated. We're getting brand new science rooms renovated. So a lot of good things are happening, even though it's summertime in Haledon. But for Wildcat kids, we miss you, and have a great summer. Go Wildcats.